All right, and moving on. Right now we're talking with Ross Benjamin. We're going to cover the Baylor-Rice game Friday, September 16th. One of these early season college football games you see a lot, right, with an obvious powerhouse playing against a team that's obviously overmatched.
Powerhouse.
Huge spread.
Are you watching the same team I watched this weekend?
They're an offensive juggernaut.
Well, their defense.
Going back many years, and the question is just, is the line too high right now? It's 29.5, 30, or 30.5 market-wide. The last time they met, it was one of those 77-15 games. Baylor got a massive, massive win. Could see the same thing happening here. As of right now, I have no opinion. Mike Brenner, before we hear what Ross Benjamin has to say, you have an opinion on this one?
Well, I think Baylor is just totally not even a top 20 quality team. That's my opinion, because that defense is terrible. They can't. And the offense, it takes them, I've noticed, and it's early in the year, and of course they're going through the transition without Art Briles, but this team, it just doesn't have that confidence about itself, and it seems they're playing on a more desperate end in the second half when they really don't need to be than years past. I see something off in the pattern, but I also know there's a growing curve, there's a learning curve, and everything else that goes to when you got a whole new system. But Rice is not a whole hell of a lot to talk about, so I don't know. This is one of those, it's just a 10-foot pole for me. If I had to lean on anything, I might say Baylor learned more last week than Rice, but I'm anxious to see what Ross has to say.
All right, Ross Benjamin, 29.5, 30, or 30.5 market wide. What do you like here?
Well, you know me, guys. I hate games like this. I really do, because it's a crapshoot. You can get backdoored real easy.
Yes.
I don't like taking underdogs that I don't think can win the game outright, and I certainly don't think that's a possibility here. Mike, you mentioned Art Briles being gone and the transition. The transition from Jim Grobe is true. I mean, it's a new coaching staff in terms of the head coach, I should say, but still the same offensive coordinator. So they shouldn't have any excuses there. They haven't put up the gaudy numbers we're used to. You know what I mean? When you look at their first two games, and Mike, you mentioned their defense, they still allowed 13 points or less in each game. So, albeit they haven't faced very good competition. Rice, on the other hand, they allowed 552 yards in the air in their opener against Western Kentucky, 348 yards on the ground last week against Army. This week, they're going to face the most balanced offense they've seen in their first three games. You know what? I'm going to take a little bit of a shot here. Guys, this isn't a game I'm going to personally wager on, but if you put the proverbial gun to my head, small lean toward the Baylor Bears.
Okay, so we will not put this on your permanent record, Ross Benjamin.
But we will not also put the proverbial gun to his head either.
29.5 minus 110 minus 115 is available right now. And I wouldn't touch this, or at least as of right now, I have no opinion on it. But I can certainly see why Ross Benjamin might think that, against Rice, all the deficiencies with Baylor that you pointed out, Mike Brenner, won't be as big of a factor.
And I might have been a little strong, Pete, because I wear my emotions on a sleeve, and I had a little action on them this weekend in the half, and they didn't crank it up until the second half. But they did cover a parlay for me. But what I'm seeing, though, the defense, I think when they face some really stiff competition, which isn't coming yet, I think they might have their backs up against the wall.
Well, you know what, Mike? Yeah, they're going to face some tough competition next Saturday, or I should say a week from Saturday, when they open up their Big 12 schedule against Oklahoma State. We'll see how good their defense is then. But you know what? I agree with you. The eye test coming from me, I don't see a top 25 team or the Baylor teams we've seen in recent seasons.
Okay, makes sense.
It
Thanks
really
so much.
does. Okay, Ross, have a great day, buddy. Let's get it done and beat that bookie.
Research before you bet. Be sure to check out SBR Picks for the best game predictions, breakdowns, and much, much more.